Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and this is season number 8 of the cafe, our first episode. For our viewing audience, every 15 episodes is a new season on Asaph Cafe because it would be impossible to do a literal year like television. So every 15 episodes, and of course we take 2 episodes a week. So it speeds up the process. And we have a brand new set. It's called, if I could find it, let's see. Okay, I can't think of the name right offhand, but we do have a new set. And on my immediate left, once again, we have the lovely Linda Briggs Curtis, one of my best friends. And one of my other best friends on my further left, affectionately our aging rocker, Emmet. So I'm glad I could start this brand new season with the both of you. We don't have a guest per se, but we do have topics to talk about today. And I want to acknowledge the Missoula Senior Center of Missoula, Montana. They're on Higgins because they provided this food that we're having today. We have meatloaf and baked potato and string beans.
Fascinating.
I was very kind of them to provide this food for this season here, and I feel very blessed and very humbled to have this show. And 8 seasons, wow. That's something. And then about a week ago, so we had celebrated our 100th episode. So I think this is like episode 104. I'll have to look on the records. I think it's 104 today. So this is season 8. Yeah. And I want to thank you both again. So enjoy your meal.
Yeah, wonderful.
And Emmett, you can start us off like you always do.
Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, thank you for food and time and show together. Amen. In Jesus' name.
Great. And on that note, there's a reason why I'm playing this here.
There is a fascinating announcement that Asaph just told us. Am I dreaming? This is excellent news, folks. Ow, I'm not dreaming. When you feel pain, you are not dreaming. But if you try and pinch yourself while you're dreaming, you don't feel anything. Oh, it's gonna be fascinating.
Yeah, this is gonna be fascinating here.
Oh, there's something that Asaph told me and showed me on the internet, and it's real, and it's for a Star Trek fan like us. In 2017, CBS is putting together for 2017 a brand new Star Trek series, just like the old one from the 60s. I mean, I saw the trailer. It looks fantastic. It looks like the old-fashioned sci-fi science fiction Star Trek where you go into outer space, have all new villains, all new heroes, space wars, alien worlds, not the politically correct stuff of Star Trek The Next Generation or Voyager, but the real science fiction thing.
Yeah, if you're into science fiction, it'll be out in 2017. They're making a brand new Star Trek television show based on the one with William Shatner.
Yeah.
And it's not like The Next Generation or Deep Space Nine or Voyager or any of those. This is Star Trek.
This is the real
they have
thing.
Younger actors and villains, and they have new planets, new worlds, and new episodes, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. So that's why I wanted to play this intro to Star Trek.
That is wonderful news.
And it has, we have technology now, so they're going to probably have some really special effects on this new Star Trek. So I'm looking forward to that.
Same here.
Anyway, this particular season, since this is season 8, episode 1, I want to dedicate this show to Johnny Erickson Tata. Now, I don't know if our audience knows her, so I'll briefly tell her story as I do some Night and Day by Sinatra. I'm going to play this song. Isn't that a beautiful song?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about Johnny. I want to dedicate this show to her
I keep telling you that Cole Porter is my favorite.
Yeah.
And my favorite song is In the Still of the Night.
I remember the song. This is such a beautiful song.
to the Star Trek.
Go ahead.
The exciting thing is, it's not going to be on cable. You don't have to have cable to see it. It's on CBS.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you don't have cable, except for the nightly news and a couple of shows, you either have to choose between the mundane and the inane. And, just... It's like you need cable just to see decent stuff or Netflix or videos. This exciting new show is going to be like the old days when broadcast television was exciting. I can't believe it.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, counting down the days. Counting down.
Yeah.
That is so exciting. They're filming it now. Who knows what they're doing? Probably firing lasers.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, to finish my comment there, this show is going to be dedicated to Johnny Erickson Tada. Johnny, I don't know if you'll ever see this show, but if you do, we're going to talk about you on our Asaph Cafe today. And I want to share with our audience Johnny's story for people who don't know.
We love you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Yes. Johnny Erickson Tada was a 17-year-old who dove into a bay. I can't remember the name of the bay because I don't have my notes with me. And she broke her neck when she dove into the shallow water. And from her point of view at the time, that seemed like the end of her life, but it actually was a beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, nobody wants to break their neck. I understand
Yeah.
that. But in her case, she started by, it took her 2 years, therapy and, recovering from the accident. And in that 2-year period, she learned how to take her teeth with a pencil and start sketching. She was sketching artwork, and it worked. And she sketched some really great artwork, and it started going on display all over the place.
Well,
Art museums and things like that, from my understanding. And then eventually, she went on to create an organization called Johnny and Friends. And this organization helps people with disabilities all around the world. Isn't that amazing?
yeah.
She's married to a man named Ken Tada. They've been married for over 30 years, and I think that's amazing
Yeah.
of itself. Christian family, Christian husband. And Johnny is a Christian. She loves Christ.
It's wonderful.
She's written something like 40 books
Whoa.
on disabilities, depression, and Christianity. And I just think that's just a remarkable thing. And of course, she had the support of probably her family, a lot of friends in her life at that time, and the man who went on to become her husband. And
The thing is, when that happened, before that happened, she felt as if she were on the top of the world.
she broke her neck when you're 17
Everything
years
was
old,
perfect. She was spectacularly, stunningly beautiful.
Yeah, she was. She was a very
Beautiful
good-looking
blonde.
lady.
She had an athletic, attractive boyfriend, and she was athletic besides being very intelligent and good in academic subjects. And suddenly it was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she could have easily gone the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've never walked in those shoes, so I don't know how I would react if that were me. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never faced that. But, in her case, she's done some wonderful things. I think she's been doing, helping the world for like 40 years or something like that now. And Johnny and Friends is a wonderful organization. They provide wheelchairs for people who can't afford to get wheelchairs. They have camps for children with disabilities, from what I understand about her. And Johnny can sing too. I have seen her on television singing.
Yeah.
And she sounds
Well,
extraordinarily well for a singer.
She sang the theme music for a Christian film that came out that was up for the Oscars. And it went through a lot of political idiocy.
I'm not surprised.
And so we aren't as familiar with it, but her husband would help her in her breathing. He would like push her diaphragm in and stuff like that to help her be able to sing.
Yeah.
I have a friend in Las Vegas who is a quadriplegic. The very same thing happened to him.
Yeah.
And he has taken advantage of every single innovation possible, so that he works 30 hours a week at his job, which is a social counselor, and he has a specially equipped van. He drives in Las Vegas traffic, he has a wheelchair. That's the only way that he can get around is on a specially equipped wheelchair, and he has a marvelous attitude. He wants to work full time, but the government won't let him.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, the same thing happened, and he is following the example that she gave, actually, because
Oh, really?
his
Chinese
accident
example?
came after that.
Oh, I see.
But it's possible, and of course we know that the Special Olympics were this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm sure Johnny probably does what she can as far as Special Olympics in Los Angeles in her area. And I know you can't necessarily compare the Special Olympics in Montana as far as Missoula to like Los Angeles, but they're all the same. They all do wonderful things, whether it's a small city or big metropolis city.
Yep.
I think the Special Olympics is a wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, I played for them once about 30 years ago.
Fascinating.
They invited me to, I think I shared this story. They invited me to Jeffrey Foundation at that time in Los Angeles, and they had little Special Olympic versions and stuff like that. And I got to stay there for 3 days at the time. They had some wonderful children there that I got to play for and have fun with, and it was just such a cool thing.
Well, you know something? I have lived in Los Angeles and been involved somewhat with the media and entertainment industry, and I have lived in Los Angeles and Las Vegas in very proximity to the entertainment industry and television and radio, and I can tell you without any doubt that the only thing that's different between it and Missoula in terms of those things is it's not necessarily better, it's just bigger.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I didn't mean it in a bad sense.
In fact, I think that Missoula is superior in many ways.
Well, it's easier to get around to entertainment here in Missoula, but in a big city, I've got to take a bus, or it's just everything's far away, you know. That's the only thing, you know. You don't have a car, and there's congestion in a big city, and traffic. Oh my word.
No, it's not just accessibility. It's also the variety of participants and the number of participants for a community this size in the arts. Yesterday, for example, I mean, and this has nothing to do with Special Olympics, but it is to do with participation in the development of young people. Yesterday at the Missoula Manor, in the afternoon, we were treated with 2 musical programs, one by the Clinton School, where various individuals played strings, woodwind, piano, drums, saxophones, you know, whatever, and trumpets and whatever. And then we watched the jazz band from Sentinel High School do some jazz standards. It was just a boys band, 12 members, and they did fantastically. I just love the drummer and some of the trumpeter and some of the individual players, but they did the old hot standards.
Amazing.
And so I don't remember seeing that in Las Vegas. I saw a lot of lip sync and things like that. But, you know, there's a lot to be said for this area. And Missoula really is my favorite, but Great Falls is terrific too. And there are things in Helena and things in Billings. So, bigger, not necessarily better.
I understand.
And remember, I came here because I couldn't hear a meadowlark in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Emmet, you know this song?
Nope. Nope.
I'll do it again.
I'm
This part.
something a rainbow.
No.
Okay.
Listen again, Emmet, see if you know this song. This is the melody.
Oh, this is Pink Panther.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that, huh?
From the movie.
Okay, I never watched the movie. I saw the cartoon as a kid, but I never saw the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, this is from the Pink Panther films. The name of the song is called Shot in the Dark.
Yep.
And it's from the original Pink Panther movies with the actor Peter Sellers. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And that's what you and I are drinking. Shots in the dark from
Shot in the
Drink
Dark, yes.
Espresso.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
cool.
Shot in the Dark Espresso.
Um,
Yeah, it's a beautiful song, and the character that Peter Sellers plays in the film is kind of a bumbling comical detective, but
yep.
he ends up saving the day and everything. Yeah. And
Cool.
it's just based on the Pink Panther
I like it.
cartoon and so on. But that's such a cool James Bondish type
Yeah.
song.
It is.
And I just really like that song. So it's called Shot in the Dark. I did a story. I played that on Wake Up Missoula yesterday, the intro to that song, Shot in the Dark. So it's kind of fun. So how you enjoying that lunch there?
I love it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's very good. I'm going to have me some of these string beans here.
Green beans are my favorite.
Well, they're good for you, you know.
And they're extremely good for muscles.
Mm.
That's why when you open up a locker of somebody who's a bodybuilder, you more than likely will find canned green beans.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Popeye.
Yes.
Of course, that's
Popeye's a
spinach.
Sailor man. And that's
The reason I'm
spinach,
playing
yeah.
that is, speaking about vegetables, when I was a little boy, my birth mom used to say, Asaph, if you eat your vegetables, you eat your spinach, you'll be strong like Popeye. And I fell for that too.
Yeah, well.
And then I would eat some spinach that my mom would make, and then I'd get in the mirror and there was no muscle, and I was still skinny, and still couldn't lift weights. But after a while, you start acquiring a taste for vegetables, and that's how my mom got me to eat spinach.
Well, I
Now-
hate canned spinach. Have you ever had canned
Yeah, I
spinach?
don't care for I like the frozen, but
Yeah.
I used to eat canned spinach.
I
when
like
we were
raw
out as a kid.
spinach. And
But you know,
when you eat it raw, it gives you a burst of energy.
and you know, the vegetable that my mom had the hardest time getting me to eat was peas. Yikes!
I've never cared
I
for peas
do
either.
not like peas.
Nor do
And
I.
so what she would do
Not
is-
even frozen sugar peas?
well, if it's smothered with like say fried rice. You don't
That's
taste
fine.
It, that's fine. But I mean, peas by itself, yeah.
Did
And
you-
so my mom would literally take little bits of jam and jelly, and she used to just sprinkle a little bit on my peas to get me to eat it when I was a kid, and I was like, ugh! And so I would eat it because of the jelly, just because my mom was trying to figure out a way to get me to eat vegetables because I hated vegetables. when I
Same
was a
here.
kid.
Same here.
I like it now, but at the
Yeah.
time, I would cringe.
So you
the
never had
thought
a
of-
chance to go out to the garden and take a pea pod and crack it open and eat the peas?
No,
right
not
from
when
the
I was a
garden?
kid. I eat it now, but at the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
When my granddaughter was like 2, I think, one time when her dad called me, because he always calls me on Sunday evening, that's my son, she wasn't available to come to the phone because she was out in the garden eating sugar snap peas. Because they are so good.
Yep.
You're gonna have to try them.
Well, there's nothing. I have grown vegetables myself in a little garden. There's nothing like garden fresh vegetables. It's not like you get in the store. Getting something from the ground that you planted, it's wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful if you grow a garden, you know, with some vegetables.
And better yet, without insecticides.
Yeah, absolutely. Without insecticides.
And where's our little doggy?
no doggy today.
Yep. But I want to splash in a coffee cup and live in a washing machine. I want to splash in a coffee cup and live in a washing machine.
Don't quit your day job.
Yep.
I always say that.
Yep.
Don't quit your day job. No, but that's just such a fun song.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
And you can make up your own lyrics like I want to splash in a
Yeah, I
coffee
know,
cup.
and I realize that, but that actually is from the Underdog cartoon, which
Yep.
we talked about before.
Yeah, but it was a song long before that.
I know, and I understand that too. And we've talked about Underdog on this show
And did you
before.
ever hear that song, How Much is the Doggy in the Window?
Yes,
I'll do it for you,
yes.
I'll do it
Patty
for you.
Page.
Wonderful.
Patty Page.
Wonderful song.
How much is that doggy? Patty
In the
Page
window.
another.
Yeah. The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? I do hope that doggy's for sale.
There we go.
Yeah.
How much that dog in the window?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I didn't know Patty Page did that song. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
She popularized it. She's the first person who recorded it.
Well, I learned something.
In the early
I did not know
1950s.
that. But anyway, they have
Hey, that's
Liberace
what you
playing
get
that,
for
too.
being around for 67 years
Yeah.
like me.
Yeah. Yeah, Liberace, I saw his version. It was really cute. It was on the Liberace show. And he had a little doggy, a poodle, a French poodle named Suzette. And yeah, so he's playing it for Suzette. It was just a cute little, how much that dog in the window. And then the other song, the Underdog song, too. So those children's songs are fun.
They
It's
are.
a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And boy, 30 minutes is almost gone by. Isn't that amazing?
One of my favorite children's songs is, the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and
Okay.
round, all the way to town. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's have fun with some children's songs here.
Now
See,
that's
I know
one of
this
my favorites. You never cared for that one.
Really?
Yeah, they play it on
And shake it all about.
the toddler tunes.
Yourself together and do the. That's what it's all about. Pokey pokey, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Pokey pokey.
Yeah, when I was doing my summer substituting
Uh-huh.
in Las Vegas, they have schools, year-round schools for elementary. And I would go and frequently the teacher would leave in the lesson plans at a particular time show an episode from the Magic School Bus.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a character in that named Miss Frizzle,
Okay.
who is a substitute teacher who comes in and suddenly transformed the classroom into a magic world.
Okay.
So the students would see me coming and they'd call me Miss Frizzle,
Uh-huh.
which I fit because I had my frizzy hair,
Well, speaking of Miss Frizzle, have you ever seen Mrs. Piggle Wiggle, the television show? It's with the actress.
Yeah, I
Gene
never saw it, but you
Stapleton.
told me about it. Yep.
Yeah, the actress that
I've
played
heard
Edith
about
Bunker
it.
on All in the Family.
And
She's
you know,
Mrs.
if-
Piggle Wiggle, and that was just such a cute
If
children's show.
If Edith Stapleton was involved, it was supreme.
She was the main character. She was Mrs.
Yeah.
Piggle Wiggle. And they had this episode where they were teaching this little boy, I think his name was Edgar or something. They were trying to teach this little boy how to tell the truth because he kept telling whoppers is what they said. So Mrs. Piggle Wiggle came up with a method to try to help him. So they put a backpack on this boy, and every time he would tell a whopper, a rock would fall out of the sky, and then they put it in the backpack.
Uh-huh.
And it got to the point where the backpack was too heavy because this boy kept telling all these whoppers all the time. And then the conclusion of this episode, they have what was called a chicken tuna chocolate cake.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Piggle Wiggle's tree, that was his favorite cake. So they had, the little boy said he made this cake which he didn't make.
Yeah.
And so the boy was like, he took a piece of the cake and he knew he didn't like it, but he was telling a whopper and said he liked it when he really didn't. So then Mrs. Piggle Wiggle was about to take a bite of the cake, and the boy confesses, says, "Don't eat this! It's terrible! It's not a good cake! It's got hot sauce, it's got all this other stuff in it!" And so then the boy starts telling the truth. They took the backpack off him. But then Mrs. Piggle Wiggle's tree was upset because he says, "Mrs. Piggle Wiggle, you didn't even bother to ask me if I wanted that cake. That's
Yeah.
my favorite cake."
Amazing.
So she makes him another cake and makes it up to him. It's just such a cute little
yeah.
children's show. And they had some pretty good movie stars. Christopher Lloyd was the grandfather in this.
Mm-hmm.
They always had the main actors on there. And then there was another episode where, Ed Begley Jr., do you remember him?
Mm-mm.
Actor of the 80s.
Mm.
He was on St. Elsewhere, I believe it was. Doctor Show.
Never
Well,
was.
anyway-
70s and 80s.
Or seven, yeah. Well, anyway, they had this episode where they were trying to teach this little girl to take a bath. Because she wouldn't take a bath. She just liked to be dirty and have her makeup on and sleep in her dirty clothes at night and stuff. So what Mrs. Piggle Wiggle does is they put fertilizer on this on this girl, and then she starts growing plants and weeds all over her body because she wouldn't take a bath. So the girl would rather walk around looking like a human plant. And she's like, "Mommy, look at me! I got plants all over me!" And her parents were like freaking out because the little girl had fertilizer and stuff. And
Was that
finally-
an animated film
No, this was
with voiceovers?
No, this was actual television. And so finally the little girl realizes how dirty she was, all this fertilizer and plants growing out of her, the fertilizer all around her body. It's like, Mommy, I want to take a bath. So they finally put the girl in the bathtub, they shave all the flowers off, they just clean her up. She looks all like a cute little girl at the end of the episode. But my point is, that Mrs. Pigglewiggle is just such a fun show.
Yeah.
Now I know some children's shows may not be quite as fun.
Yeah.
But I think that this one was really fun.
Yeah, definitely.
It's called Mrs. Pigglewiggle, if you ever get to see it with
What year was it
Cheese
on?
Steak. Oh gosh, I don't know. I have a couple episodes in my VHS collection at home. And it's just the cutest show.
From the 90s?
Probably.
Huh, I don't remember it.
Yeah. This must have been when Jean Stapleton had already completed All in the Family. She looked a little bit older, but that voice was still there. And it's just such a neat children's television show. So Emmet, how have you been?
Oh, I've been all right. I had some allergies this morning, and I had to take some antihistamine. It was a beautiful thunderstorm, and I was sleeping through it, but then I woke up coughing and coughing, so I had to take some antihistamine. I'm better now. You know, but
Okay.
yeah, I had an allergy attack again from the seasonal allergies of the pollen and that kind of thing.
And Linda, how have you been?
Ditto.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was very tired
I took some
last night.
allergy, non-drowsy,
Yeah.
but I still had a headache and my eyes hurt from the allergies.
Yeah, I went to bed something like 9 o'clock last night. And I literally slept all night and woke up about 8 this morning.
Wonderful.
That's how tired I was.
So that was 11 hours, yep.
Something like that. And I feel fine. I
Yeah.
usually don't sleep that long, but I just felt I need to rest.
Absolutely.
But I've been doing a lot of work lately.
Uh-huh.
Spending a lot of hours on the computers between Wake Up Missoula, 3 stories a week, and in the cafe here, and all the performing I've been doing, and plus the practice time I have to put in and all the other stuff. So I'm trying to get a job with Carnival Cruise. I have a friend that's trying to help me make that
Ah.
possible.
Hmm.
And if I should get this job with the cruise ship,
And leave us high and dry.
no, I'm not gonna move. I'll still keep my apartment and everything. My next door neighbor's gonna take care of it.
Yep.
And I'll send her payments and so on. And
Sounds like a
start
good
saving
job,
money.
a good thing.
Well, yeah, if I get, Carnival's had some issues over the years, but hopefully they'll work that out. And there's other cruise ships, Norwegian and Viking cruise and so on. I just have to get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
Boy,
And
I'd love
another-
to do the Viking cruise.
Yeah, and then another job that I'm trying to get if I don't get the cruise ship is Nordstrom. All I have to do is get one of those Nordstrom stores to hire me. And then a year later I can transfer to the West Coast if I want to, whatever.
Yep.
And the Nordstrom company, they have a medical and dental plan for the piano players that play.
Mhm.
Problem is, the piano players that play for Nordstrom, they're not going to give that up, all that benefits and stuff like that. And my understanding, it pays like $24 an hour
Yeah.
to play the piano.
That's
for
pretty
that
good.
Organization.
That's
So it's
very
pretty
good,
cool.
yeah.
So if I get blessed there,
Mhm.
I'll take it. And then another thing I'm attempting, if I don't get either one of those two, maybe a job in a hotel like for the Doubletree organization.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So I have a friend that is trying to help me to accomplish those goals.
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm still here with
Yeah.
Asaph Cafe. And I have you two here with
Yep.
me today, and we're eating meatloaf. Again, the Missoula
Baked
Senior,
potatoes
the
And baked
Missoula
potatoes.
Senior
Green beans.
Center, they provided these goodies here. I'm gonna have some of this here.
and coconut whipped cream goodies.
Yep.
hmm
Fascinating.
For you, Linda.
Manana.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
I like the song. Manana.
Yep.
It's a cute little song. But anyway, I'm trying to land that full-time piano job. And this time what I want to do is save as much as I can.
Yeah.
Should I get this opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel perfectly fine, but I'm getting physically older myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I better start preparing more than what I've already
Mhm.
done.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
and the fingers don't get tired. You can move indefinitely. Just the posture, sitting up like that. Like I did a performance at the DoubleTree Hotel one night for 6 hours straight. I think I only took a break like about 5 minutes here and there.
The thing is,
I was in
though,
such pain when I got home that night. I literally had to put an icy hot patch on my back and lay straight, like God kill me. I'm in pain.
quite a few people, however, do get arthritis in their hands and fingers.
Yeah.
Well, I realize that, and I'm not showing any signs of that right now, but this is the time for me to start preparing more. And I don't presume on life.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be feeling perfectly fine, and 10 minutes later, bam.
Exactly.
I've had that happen. I have literally had that happen where I'm feeling just perfectly fine, and a few minutes later, I get sick just like that. I mean, really sick. So, I don't presume on life.
That has happened to me.
I've had that happen too.
That is absolute. Yeah.
I mean, you just feel like $1 million.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, you're like just blindsided.
I've had that happen to me. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just when watching the movies with a friend, then all of a sudden I feel terribly ill, and I had to go to the emergency room, to the clinic the next day and get an antibiotics. Just whoa!
I know I've had that happen. So, but I think about my future, and I do want to prepare it a little bit better than what it is now. And I'm not in the big city anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't do as many performances here in Missoula as I did when I was in Los Angeles and Vegas and so on. But look at the things I got to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this cafe show for one.
Yeah.
If I were in a big city, I would have probably never even thought of it.
Yeah.
So I feel very blessed to have this show here.
Definitely.
And I introduced this show just last week to PBS. Asaph Cafe, the concept of this show. So maybe if they give me an opportunity, I'm going to start doing the Asaph Cafe just like this.
Cool.
Just for PBS.
Cool.
And what I can do is maybe work my way up until we do that brand new Lawrence Welk show.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
As far as piano playing, I'm kind of confused. Couldn't you just use a regular chair, like a high back chair, so you could rest your back and just put the high
Well,
back chair?
they have that for piano players, but see, that can be very constricting for movement when you are doing certain passages. It can really be distracting, and when you play the piano, it's done by what's called sensation, and the slightest thing can throw you off. Just the slightest thing, because when you play the same thing over and over, you get used to how that feels playing it.
I see.
And so you just don't want something to throw you off, because it can really throw you off and throw your momentum off and cause you to miss notes and things like that.
I tried to take piano lessons as a child, but I'm terrible at sheet music and reading music. I'm terrible at it.
Well, that's
and
one
I just
of my
couldn't
weaknesses
understand
too, but it just takes a lot.
Like
of
my learning
practice.
disabilities, like going to this hand and this hand to play a tune.
Well, it takes a lot of practice. Like
It
Ray
does.
Charles. You remember Ray Charles, the singer?
No, I
The
don't.
blind singer?
Nope.
Well,
Ray Charles. Yeah.
How they got him to learn how to play the piano instead of, because he was blind and couldn't see. So instead of teaching him the traditional way with the left hand and the right hand, everything you do with the left hand, they taught him with the right hand. And everything with the right hand, they taught him with the left to switch it and then combine it together since his disability. And it worked.
That's good.
And he went on to become one of the best piano players and singers in history.
Yeah.
Ray Charles, I mean, my goodness.
Yep.
Yeah, let's have fun with Ray Charles here.
I discovered what this dessert is.
What is it?
It's key lime.
Okay.
Yay! Like key lime pie.
Yeah, when I wanted to play music lessons.
Did you know yesterday at the Sentinel Jazz program,
What?
the director said that Georgia on My Mind was actually written by Hoagie Carmichael, who had gone to elementary school at Lowell School here in Missoula.
Did
I
not
did
know
not
that.
know that.
And I didn't connect it with Hoagie Carmichael.
We said it at the same time. Isn't that fascinating?
Hoagie
I did not- I
Carmichael
know
wrote
that.
Stardust.
Oh, we did it again! Oh!
And that's what we largely remember him for, and then he kind of got siphoned off into movies, and but he wrote Georgia on My Mind. But of course, we remember Ray Charles because of his inimitable version of it.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And who was it that did Rainy Night in Georgia? Was that Elvis? No?
I don't think so.
No, anyway. I just thought that was a really interesting tidbit.
Well, I'm glad to know that. I didn't know
Carmichael.
that.
was, despite all of his successes, he was sort of eaten up by Hollywood, just like Johnny Mercer was. And Johnny Mercer practically built the music industry, particularly the influence on black music.
Well, you know, the thing about Hollywood, I'm not knocking Hollywood per se, but there are a lot of bad influences in the world of Hollywood, and it's always been like that. It has always been like that. So I think that if you're going to be an actor or a musician in Hollywood or whatever, you should have your head screwed on tight.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've had the right support and the right people in your life, that can happen.
Yeah.
A lot of these people get fame and wealth, which is nothing wrong with it, thrust upon them, and they don't have the right support, and it causes a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of George on my mind, Ray Charles, you know, I was blessed enough to have the same teacher. Well, Bumps Blackwell worked with Ray Charles, and Sam Cooke, and Herb Alpert, and Sonny Bono, and all the people that passed.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to study with Bumps before he passed away in his twilight years, older years. I always think of it like the Karate Kid. You remember how Ralph Macchio got the one-on-one lessons with Mr. Miyagi?
Yeah.
Sandy floor, wax on. You remember that?
Yeah,
Wax
I hated
on,
the
wax
karate.
off, and he
I
hated doing all that, but it turned him into a force to be reckoned with in martial arts. That's the way to describe
He
my
was such a
teaching.
cute kid.
Yeah, that was my
And he did that movie,
interpretation of
what was
Bumps,
that
you know?
called, that Crossroads? Did you see that movie?
I know of it.
Oh, you gotta see it. Find it somewhere and see it. It was tremendous. And I think Charlie Daniels plays The Devil Went Down to Georgia in it too. It's worth it.
I hated the movie The Karate Kid. I hated that movie. I thought it was just so fakey as far as the martial arts, and I just didn't feel that this was even real. And you know, real fighting just isn't that way. It's a fight to the death. Real fighting, yeah.
I'll tell you what I think is not real fighting, but it sure is fun to watch.
Yeah.
You ever watch those Rocky movies?
I hated the Rocky movies. I hated the Rocky movies.
I was in one of those Rocky movies.
Well, you
Really?
know,
Wow.
no. I mean, the Rocky movies are fine. God bless Sylvester Stallone and Mr. T and all the rest of the people, but when you're watching a movie and you're punching a guy 50 times and he doesn't go down, that's kind of like not real, you know? It was just kind of corny to me, but I think the best Rocky film was the first one, obviously.
I just hated them. I just thought, this is awful. There's only one martial arts movie, or two of them, that I've ever liked that I feel captures real fighting, martial arts. There are movies called Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I have both of them. They're fantastic.
Well, you know, there were some other martial arts movies that were really corny. Did you ever see Remo Williams?
No.
Okay, this was a guy who, he could be 90 feet up in the air on a balance beam, doing tumbling, flipping, and go into a room and beat up bad guys, deflecting bullets. It was kind of corny. And then there was another show in the 70s called Get Christy Love. I don't know
Never heard
if you
of it.
remember that. Well, she was like this martial arts African-American lady who, she had this big round afro, and she beating up bad guys and deflecting bullets and dodging bullets, and it was just really crazy. See, those kind of movies, they're fun to watch, but you know they're overkill because it's not real. But then when you watch a really good martial arts film that's more realistic, I think it's fun to watch that. And then some of those martial art films, you know, you ever watch them where the mouth doesn't match the words?
Yes.
Where are you going?
Yes,
And then the mouth moves. We're going to take over your neighborhood, and you're going to pay us money. And there's and you know what's funny about those movies? Everybody in the whole block knows Kung Fu, right? And then there's this one guy who all he does is practice all day, right? And so his Kung Fu is better than everybody else's Kung Fu, and he ends up saving the day. It's the same old plot with those.
I know.
With those movies, it's just the silliest. I mean, fun silly.
Yeah.
For some reason, I felt like you were going to be playing Claire de Lune.
Well, I could. Let's do that. Piece of it.
The Return of Sanity.
That's a good thing. I wouldn't have thought of this.
You win the prize.
Play Claire de Lune for you.
Allergies too will pass.
don't think I've ever heard this song.
You don't know it?
Nope. Nope. I don't. I didn't even remember hearing it on an easy listening station or an album.
I'm gonna stop right there because
Is
if
that
I do that
Debussy?
middle part, yeah, if I do that middle part, it'd be too hard to do it on this piano because the action is not quick enough to be doing something
Yeah.
like that on this here. And I don't want to butcher that song, you know. But Claire de Lune is a beautiful piece of work, and I want to start getting really familiar with that and eventually put that back into my repertoire and start, you know, do that song all the way through again.
Well, maybe that's why I thought you were going to be playing it. Maybe I was reading that in your mind.
No, I hadn't even thought of it, but it's a good, you know.
Huh.
Okay, let's have fun. Let's see. You weren't going to sing today, so I'll play this for you, Linda.
Well, you know, even with my allergies, I could sing in that key, but my jaw
Yeah.
tightens up. It wasn't
That's good.
one thing, it's another.
Yeah. How long does allergy season last anyway?
I don't know, probably throughout the summer, I would think. All right, Emmett, I'm going to play something. Tell me if you know this song. Don't you say anything, Linda, because you probably know it. Let me do that again. I'm sorry I didn't do that right. You recognize it?
Nope.
Still don't recognize it?
Nope.
I'll do it again. Still don't know it, huh?
Nope.
I'll give you a hint. When the guy gets angry, his body does a metamorphosis.
The Incredible Hulk?
That is the theme to the Incredible
Whoa.
Hulk. I'll do it again.
I never watched that show.
Isn't it a
Who
beautiful
was
song?
the star? Louis Ferrigno?
Bill Bixby. Bill Bixby.
Alright.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I never watched that show.
But the Hulk was Louis
Yeah.
Ferrigno.
Yeah, I saw Lou Ferrigno in real life once, about 30, 40 years ago. You know, when the Incredible Hulk was in its heyday. And he wasn't wearing that green makeup then. So when he went like this and flipped his shirt off, every lady was like, just about passed out. They're like, ah! They were screaming. And I had a good seat, and I was like, man, this guy's got muscles in places. I didn't even know they had muscles. He was so buffed, so chiseled.
Yeah.
I mean, when he ripped his shirt off like the Hulk, I was like, holy cow, this
Yeah,
guy's,
yeah.
he is put together like,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, because, you know, he was young and he was doing the Hulk then, and you could see all the ripples. And of course, as the years go by, they're still big and so on, but they probably don't work out as much as they did when they were younger. So even though the muscles are there, some of them kind of slightly disappear, but they're still big. But when you're in your heyday and you got everything working, you had to see this guy to believe him, Lou Ferrigno. Oh my goodness. And he's triumphed in his life, from what I understand, because he was partially deaf as a little boy. And he was introduced to weightlifting, and for him it worked. And he wound up being the Incredible Hulk. I mean, what a legacy that he's going to leave when he finally retires from acting.
Well,
He'll be able to say, I was the Incredible Hulk on television.
Yeah.
He was huge, Linda. You really had to see this guy in real life. But the main star was Bill Bixby. And for those who don't know about the story of the Hulk, Dr. David Banner was experimenting in his laboratory to tap into human strength. And he got exposed to some gamma rays in his laboratory. And so it made a metamorphosis on his body. So whenever he becomes angry or upset, he turns into the Incredible Hulk. Now, that's not the way the comic book portrayed the Hulk.
Yeah.
But I guess they had to do it like that for the sake of television.
Nah.
And I think Bill Bixby was the perfect person to play Dr. Banner. Just an
Yeah.
ordinary, thin, just ordinary guy who gets ticked off or whatever. And he goes, rah! And the more he does this, the angrier he gets. And in this series, it ends up saving his life on repeated episodes when he becomes a Hulk. They had this episode with Don Marshall, the actor that played on Land of the Giants. He
Yes.
played the captain, the pilot, Erickson. And they had this scene where, Don Marshall was this bad guy. He's usually a good guy on TV, right? But he was a bad guy in this episode of The Incredible Hulk, and they took Bill Bixby and this other guy and they tossed them into this pit. And they took this bulldozer and they were shoveling dirt and they were going to bury them alive. And so Bill Bixby looks up and his eyes turn green because he didn't want to get buried alive with this other guy. They shot the other guy, just dumped him in there. And he goes, "Rah!" And he turns into the Hulk while the sand's going over his body. And then you see this green hand coming up out of the sand. He's ticked. And he gets out of the sand pit and he goes after Don Marshall. He's like, "Rah!" And he picks him up. He throws Don Marshall across the field, like this. And then there was the bulldozer that they used. The Hulk gets in there and he picks up this bulldozer rah! And he flips it over and he crushes the other guy that was riding the bulldozer in there. And then he went after the Hulk goes after the bad guy. And so the guy just takes his gun. He shoots the Hulk, right? Nicks him in the arm, and that ticks the Hulk off even more. He's like, rah! He really gets mad. He goes after that guy and tosses him like a rag doll, flips the cars over. It was just, this is quite the show.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was great imagination, great science fiction, that Incredible Hulk. And it comes on every Saturday night now.
Really? What?
On MeTV.
Oh, yeah.
It comes on, I think, at 7 o'clock our time.
Yeah, interesting.
The old Bill Bixby. And they show the early episodes, so that's pretty cool. But I used to watch The Incredible Hulk every week. And when that show was in its heyday, and it was a fun show to watch.
Yeah, I never saw it. I have seen, however, the Hercules movies.
No, Hercules is nothing compared to the Hulk.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one with Lou Ferrigno, not the series, the Hercules, the movies with Lou Ferrigno. In the 80s, they made movies of Hercules starring Lou Ferrigno, not the one with Kevin Sorbo. No,
not those. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. But
they were fantastic. And it was excellent Hercules movies with Lou Ferrigno, and he was perfect. And he had a beard and everything. He was perfect as Hercules.
And then also that song I played, that theme song at the end. When Dr. Banner would establish friendships, he'd have to leave them because he was living a transient life on purpose till he can find a cure. So everybody thinks the Hulk killed Dr. Banner. Which the Hulk didn't. So Dr. Banner pretends he's dead. He plays this wandering drifter from city to city, and he always gets into situations. And at the end, when he's saying goodbye to his friends and goes back to his transient life so he can find a cure, they play that song.
Yeah, interesting.
And you're supposed to tear up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful song. Something like that. That's how it would end. And on that note, our time's up.
Oh,
any final things you want to say? Yeah.
Well, yes, let's see. There's a new surreal joke. There were these two dishwashers, and they were splashing around in the coffee cup. Isn't that fascinating? And they were also fascinated by the new trailer for Star Trek, and they were watching that, and they were all excited. It's fascinating. And this one washing machine came along and said, "Well, I can't see around that." So we went to the other side of the room and started screaming about advanced algebra equations.
Yeah. Don't put your day job. Linda, any final words you want to say?
Well, I don't have all the information and the PR for the couple things that I want to mention right now, which in the future there will be raffle tickets sold to benefit a program, a help program at Missoula Manor, and it's really a fun raffle because for $1 ticket you have a chance to buy to win $1,000 cash.
Whoa.
And that sale starts in the summer.
Okay.
And I just have to get all the information ready for it. And then also, this summer, the 43rd anniversary of Missoula Manor Homes
Okay.
is going to be celebrated. So there, and there are lots of other things to do in that PR work, but some things that are coming up in Missoula need volunteers,
Okay.
such as the Missoula Marathon. Right now, they've advertised that they're accepting volunteers now. So
Okay, well, let me make
I
some-
was associated with it last year, so I can tell you, it's fun, it's rewarding, and you get to help the runners, if you don't run yourself.
Yeah. And on that note, let me make some final acknowledgments. Again, this is season 8, episode 1. We have a new set today, and I'm extremely humbled. I could not do this show without the both of you, and I feel blessed to do this show, not only with you two, but all the people that have been part of this show over the years. It's just fun. Yeah, I just invite a person in the community. All they do is talk to me as I play the piano. So that's the synopsis of Asaph Cafe. So on my immediate left, again, we have the lovely Linda Brooks Curtis. Thank you, Linda. And affectionately, our aging rocker, Emmet. Thank you, Emmet. And of course, you're going to be part of that new Lawrence Welk show. Both of you, if I get this funding. I've been sending out proposals, and I actually got some letters from some of the foundations. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I am Asaph Adonai. Thank you for watching. And until our next show, Maranatha.
And happy trails.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget all the free concerts in Missoula this summer. Who says we don't have it over California?
So you guys make yourself at home, and I'll get this ready. And then, Emmet, you and I could do another show here.
Yeah.